everyone, and welcome to the celebrations tonight for Larissa and Dean's wedding. My name is Jamie.
And my name is Ruben.
And we are your masters of ceremony for this evening. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the support. We are going to get started so we can proceed to welcoming our guests of honor.
All right, leading off, we have groomswomen Jen Mioska and Lucy Brown.
Up next, we have groomsman Sean Adair and bridesmaid Shannon Moore.
And next up, we have best man Tony Chatfield and bridesmaid Stephanie Martin.
Up next, we have Maid of Honor Marissa Brennan and Man of Honor Chris Haltigan. And for the first time ever, other than the reception where we saw them earlier, we would like to formally introduce Mr. and Mrs. Colson. All right. Thank you to everyone who is here and is joining us today. Before we get started, we would like to gratefully and respectfully acknowledge that we work, learn, and play on the shared unceded territory of the Squamish and Lillooet nations. We honor their language, culture, and history, and we are extremely excited to be here celebrating today. We know we've had some guests travel quite far and wide to join us here in beautiful BC. We're very happy to have you here today. And we are very excited to officially be welcoming you to Larissa's wedding.
And Dean, it's so great of you to show up. Thank you. On that note, we'd like to kick off things by reading a short list of Larissa's wedding regulations and rules. So, just a little bit of light reading.
Bear with us, this may take a while, I apologize.
I'm going to give you the abridged version. We have the washrooms located just here. Make sure everybody knows. There's a few rules and regulations. Please, no clinking of glasses to initiate kissing. We must keep our shirts on at all times.
And sorry, I do have to add in that also involves keeping pants on at all times, because apparently there was an incident the other night with the bachelor party. Ruben and Jen specifically, there was some thievery involved, so I do have to ask, please keep your pants on.
If you take your pants off, make sure you keep an eye on them. Also, no ties around the head on the dance floor. Let's keep it classy. Please get home safely. We want you to call a cab, whistle, or take the bus. Awkward and enthusiastic dance moves are encouraged on the dance floor, please. If you haven't already, the guest book is over on the pool table to sign, and please take a photo of yourself and add it to the guest book as well. And finally, Larissa and Dean would like to invite you all to Alpha Lake Park tomorrow for a classic Whistler Lake hang from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please speak to Larissa or check out the wedding website for more information.
Off the highway. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Ruben, for explaining those important details. For those of you who do not know us, Ruben and I both met Larissa and Dean working at Four Seasons Whistler between 2011 to 2014.
We all gradually took our leave from working in luxury hospitality, but I think we can all agree that we made some lifelong friends due to our mutual love of the mountains and mutual disdain for the entitled Four Seasons guests. We spent a lot of time with the happy couple over the years, and we've gotten to know them quite well. And they've come a long way from the days of Pool Boy Dean and in-room dining Lars, I can assure you. And they've just become the beautiful couple that we see here today.
To give you insight into the type of people that they are today, not only did they decide to plan their own wedding over the last couple years, they decided to do so at the same time they were raising their first child, Mackenzie. We all know that having and raising a child is tough, so why not take a month-long trip to the UK with a 1-year-old? And then surprise, they were both training for and successfully raced in their first sprint triathlon mid-June. And I would be remiss if I failed to mention that Larissa beat Dean. Cheers to you, Lars. From mid-June until today, there was also a camping trip, a work trip to New Orleans, a bachelorette, a trip back to Ontario, a wedding shower, a friend's wedding, a bachelor party, and likely other events we are probably missing. You're not alone if you also now feel extremely inadequate in comparison to these two.
Yeah, Jamie and I were just patting ourselves on the back for getting this speech up and running, but yeah, thanks guys. I'm feeling very accomplished.
And on that note, we'd like to introduce the amazing people that helped to create one half of this super couple. Please join us in welcoming Vlad Haltigan and Kathy Stewart, parents of the bride.
Hello, everyone. As Jamie already mentioned, I'm Kathy, Larissa's mom. And on behalf of Vlad, Larissa's dad, who we'll hear from in a minute. We always do a team tag here. We would like to welcome you to this beautiful celebration of Larissa and Dean. Vlad and I are beyond happy for you, Larissa, and to have you, Dean, officially join the Stewart clan. Although you have been an honorary member for a while now. So in the meantime, as has already been mentioned, they have presented us with a beautiful granddaughter, Mackenzie, about 16 months ago. She so typifies both of you, we think, and this is just a short list, lovely, happy, as we all know, determined, and emerging love for games, Dean, and the life of the party, as we saw, I think, last night at the rehearsal party for those that were here. As some of you know, or will soon realize, Vlad is also from England. Unfortunately, Larissa's Auntie Anne and her family in England, and Vlad's best friends Michael and Sue, also in England, were not able to join us, but as you both know already, they send their love. We heard from Auntie Anne today as well. Fortunately, though, as has already been mentioned, they had a chance to visit everyone when they were recently in the UK. However, we are delighted to welcome Amanda, who is Vlad's goddaughter, and Larissa's informal big sister, and her husband Anthony and their son Tom, who traveled from England. We are so pleased that you're here with us. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge Ange and Dean's mom and her partner Harry, their good friends Brian and Debbie, Dean's brother Ross and Amy. Thank you for your love and support, amazing support of Larissa and Dean leading up to today. We look forward to getting to continue to know you and celebrate Larissa's and Dean's future milestones. And before I hand this over to Vlad, to you, Larissa, specifically, our beautiful daughter, please remember, when you're down and troubled and you need some loving care and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me. And soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name and you know wherever I am, I'll come running and I'll be there. You've got a friend and I love you very much. Thanks to Carol Kane, that was my words.
Well, hi everybody. As you've probably guessed, I'm Vlad the dad. What a location. What weather, isn't this amazing? Just fabulous. And it really has been, hiya. And it is what a wonderful day for Larissa and Dean. And thank you everybody for supporting them today. Yeah. Dean, I know Chris is going to share a few stories about Larissa in a moment, but I'd also like to share a few tidbits from Kathy's and my perspective. As Larissa grew up, she always enjoyed a variety of sports and activities, including figure skating, skiing, swimming, diving, field hockey, ice hockey, and rugby, until she broke her collarbone. She studied dance for 14 years with her closest and oldest friend and maid of honor, Marissa. And for a brief period also took piano lessons, and even for a briefer period, clarinet lessons. A woman of many facets for sure. She's very accomplished and works hard at everything she does. She was recognized even in grade 3 by her teacher as a leader, and we just thought she was bossy. To her credit, Larissa went on to hold several leadership positions in elementary and high school and was elected president of the student council. And that continued actually at university when she was recognized and was selected for the Young Hoteliers Summit in Switzerland. And also participated in a lot of Habitat for Humanity projects in Central America and the United States. That's a little bit about Larissa. The business program she was at the University of Guelph included a one-year co-op term when she and a few of her classmates headed west. First to Kananaskis in Alberta for 6 months and then 6 more here in Whistler. And what a time to come. They experienced the 2010 Winter Olympics. That really was special. And it changed Larissa's life, and we know for a few of you, changed your lives too, for sure. In fact, when Larissa returned from her post-grad adventures in Europe in 2012, the only message to us was, I'm going back to Whistler. Do you have a job? No. Where do you live? I'll work it out. Sure enough, to her credit, she did. Since Larissa's been out west, she discovered many new sports and activities in the great outdoors. Snowboarding, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, hiking, various forms of biking and paddleboarding. She even tried skydiving, which didn't go so well, we understand. But she also learned to do swimming in glacier-fed lakes, and thank you, Jamie, for taking my punchline. She beat Dean. But Larissa met Dean just up the road here at Four Seasons, of course. I know you've heard about that before, and we wonder about Dean. An Englishman yet. Wow, great. But Dean, you're a true English gentleman. You took the traditional step of calling me to ask for Larissa's hand in marriage. Both Kathy and I were absolutely thrilled right away. However, you do have one challenge. You support Liverpool Football Club. I know, I've got my own. I support Chelsea. Up the Blues! Larissa and Dean were certain BC is where you will remain. As they say, once they move out west, they'll never return down east. While we wish you were closer to us, we understand why you love it here and are delighted for you. So Larissa and Dean, to conclude, as I shared with Tim and Melissa at their wedding and with Chris and Katie at theirs, there are 3 memorable words to pattern your life after. Live, laugh, and love. Live. No matter how hard you work, don't get mired in your work. Always make sure you continue to take the time to live. Skiing, camping, hiking and biking the wonderful trails in BC. Have dinner together. Take time to travel together. Live your lives and those of your wonderful Mackenzie and your future family to the fullest. To laugh and have fun. No matter how difficult individual life situations turn out to be, always have an intense appreciation for the ridiculous and know how good your own world is. Remember that Russian doll you knock over? No matter how many times it falls down, it always pops back up with a smile. And finally, love. That magic word, but oh so difficult. Leo Tolstoy, who wrote the epic novel War and Peace, said, "Love is life." And when you think about it, he wasn't far wrong. A few years back, when I was recovering from a heart operation, the attending physician simply advised me to enjoy life, drink red wine, and make love. And she was right on. So, Larissa and Dean, so be happy, be healthy, be safe, and take care of one another always. Today is your day, and we're also happy to share it with you. We love you both dearly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Vlad and Kathy, for those lovely words. Ruben, who do we have up next?
Yeah, up next, I have the extreme pleasure of introducing the powerful matriarch of the Coulson family. When I was quizzing Dean about what comes to mind when he thought of his mother, he took a pause, thought about it, and then he talked about how supportive she was in everything he did in life, allowing him to make his own decisions, and how she doesn't, quote, take shit from anybody, end quote. A trait that she definitely instilled in her son. Ladies and gentlemen, Angela Coulson.
Hi. So you won't know, but just very recently, Dean's brother Ross got married in May, and I had to make a little speech at his reception. So I really didn't want to repeat myself. I could have just rehashed the speech really and just changed the words, change the names, but I'm not going to do that. And it was a little bit of an emotional day, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I've had a little chat with my beautiful granddaughter, Mackenzie, and we've put our heads together, and we've written a little poem to celebrate this very special day. So clearly, I'm going to read this poem in Mackenzie's North England voice. Yeah, if she had a voice from Cumbria in England. And our poem is called My Mummy and Daddy Got Married Today. Today you're getting married, some say you're getting wed, and here we are in Whistler, and I'm sleeping in a strange bed. This morning we got up early, friends and family in my room, faces getting painted, and my mummy smells of nice perfume. Lots of makeup, lots of shoes. Ooh, and my mum's trying to put flowers in my hair. Pretty cards and parcels, and there was laughter everywhere. We are wearing smart new clothes. My daddy's in a new suit. My mummy, she's looking stunning, and everyone says, well, I'm kind of cute. And then the bus came to the door and whisked us all away. And now I'm feeling a bit fed up because all I want to do is play. Loads of photos, oodles of fuss. What's it all about? Oh, I'm loving this party. It makes me want to shout. My mummy, well, she's so pretty. And my daddy? He's not so bad. And my Nana Ange, she's crying again, but she doesn't look so sad. My daddy held Mummy closely, and on her finger he put a ring. And he said some words quietly to Mummy. Oh, my Nana's crying again. Then we all were standing, watching them both kiss. And Mummy and Daddy, well, they look so happy. I think they call this wedded bliss. So here's to my mum and dad. They are the most wonderful pair. What a fabulous wedding day, and it's a memory we can always share. Today is so very special. We are celebrating your love so true, and we all here wish a lifetime of joy to both of you. Bunches of fun, plenty of laughter, shining through every circumstance. Now, enough of this chatting. Let's eat up, because my daddy says we're going to have a dance. How clever are you, Mackenzie Coulson? So can we raise a glass to our bride and groom, to Dean and Larissa, Mr. and Mrs. Coulson. Cheers. Thank you very much. And no tears.
And for the next round, we would like to welcome to the stage, the table, the podium, whatever we're going to call it, the esteemed Dr. Haltigan.
Now, is this the rocket science doctor that works for NASA, or the doctor? Which doctor are we talking about?
All right, thank you for clarifying. There is more than one of them in the Haltigan family. This is Chris, to clarify, is the doctor, who is Larissa's man of honor. Chris Haltigan, welcome to the stage.
Hello and good evening, everyone. I got introduced, but for those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris. I am the youngest of Larissa's 3 older brothers and her man of honor. I was a little surprised when Larissa asked me to do this, but I think she knew I would follow her rules the best. Be punctual and tell the most appropriate stories that don't embarrass her. Truth be told, Larissa was my best woman and did the exact same thing at my and Katie's wedding 8 months ago. But who better to deliver a speech on the most important day of your life than the person who has known you the longest and whose bedroom was separated by a tiny bathroom with a single toilet for over 20 years. My wife Katie and I, when we were giving our wedding speech, we had 10 to 20 seconds to acknowledge each individual in our wedding party. And word for word, this is what I said to Larissa. Larissa, you are the greatest little sister I could ever ask for. You are the ultimate camping buddy, the world's best road hockey goalie, and my biggest fan. Despite being thousands of miles away for our entire adult lives, we've continued to support each other every step of the way. You're already the best mom to Mackenzie, and I'm so proud to be your older brother. And now that I have more time, let me elaborate. If you grew up in Oakville with us, you'll know that Larissa and I used to bicker back and forth all the time. It's how we rolled. My friends and I would drive her absolutely insane. Whose friends ate all the chips Kathy just bought? Who drank all the damn Coke? Whose friends broke the new pool floaty? Where did this hole in the wall come from, and how did that window get broken? Despite the constant lunacy that Kathy and Vlad put up with, there was always admiration and mutual respect for the lives Larissa and I were privileged to live. Still to this day, I have no idea how our parents were able to get Larissa and I to our multiple activities while working full-time in Toronto. And admittedly, this would usually end up with Larissa being subject to sitting at a hockey rink or a soccer field for a few hours after she finished a 4-hour set of dance classes. Through the constant mayhem, Larissa and I developed the deepest friendship a brother and sister could have. Since forever, she has been the most supportive, caring, tolerant, flexible, honest, sincere, and loving person in my life. She has never wavered, even as the chaos has essentially stayed the same. Back in 2012, Larissa and I both graduated university, and it was at this time where our postal codes began to change dramatically. During her internships that my dad mentioned in Kananaskis and Whistler, Larissa developed the sickness people from Ontario called West Coast fever. She got swallowed up by the ocean with the picturesque snow-capped mountain backdrops, lakeside wilderness camping, world-class skiing, snowboarding, and mountain biking. She also seemed to tolerate the high gas prices, rain, and ridiculous cost of living. However, life out west came with a free Epic Pass, a floppy toque, and a flannel, so it was probably worth it. To no one's surprise, Larissa flourished in Whistler and started laying down roots. I'll admit, I was a little shocked. The soccer player who used to pick dandelions during games had now bought 2 different types of skis, a snowboard, a paddleboard, and a mountain bike. West Coast Lars was fully activated. Then some guy named Dean came along, and I needed to know more about him. Well, he worked at the Four Seasons, and he moved his way to the HR team at Whistler Blackcomb. Now he's working for Sonder. It's pretty damn good. He loves hockey. He and his friends do a fantasy draft and compete for this thing called the Milk Bag Cup every year. I'll be honest, probably one of the best things I've ever heard in my entire life. But what team does he like? There's already enough Montreal Canadiens fans in our family. He likes the Vancouver Canucks. It's acceptable. I got Toronto Maple Leafs cufflinks on tonight, so good for him. He's also British. This is interesting. Vlad must really like him. Where in the UK is he from? Well, he's from up north. Huh. What football team does he like? Well, they're red. What do you mean they're red? This is terrible. Vlad likes them? There's not a chance he's a fan of the scum from Manchester United and a Chelsea household. Nah. He likes Liverpool. Die-hard Liverpool fan. Boy, did we dodge a bullet with that one. The first time I met Dean was in May 2016. Larissa and Dean came to London while I was living there during medical school. And along with their friend Mark, we went to a Mexican cocktail bar on Carnaby Street and absolutely had a time. The details, little hazy, but it was 100% clear how unbelievably happy Larissa was and how down-to-earth, charismatic, humble, and courteous Dean was. The more I learned about him, it was impossible not to love him like a brother. He had overcome his own adversity as a kid. He was adventurous and daring to move his entire life from the UK to Canada, and he absolutely adored my younger sister. He is without question the fastest skier I have ever seen, and I always wondered why the hell he complained about snowboarders and skiing with snowboarders until I was one of those snowboarders on the hike to Spanky's Ladder and got stuck in waist-deep snow, and I needed to dig out. Thanks, buddy. And also, and most importantly, the dude can survive a family dinner where something goes wrong with Larissa's order. The best part, he has the balls to chirp her about it afterwards. Perfect. Dean, it is an honor to call you a brother, and I couldn't be more happy you are the man my sister married. One of my best friends, Scott Knowles, has a quote he has said in multiple wedding speeches. You are the product of who you hang around with the most. It is so true that we are reflections of the people we spend the most time with. Larissa and Dean have built a life in Whistler and Squamish that is nothing short of incredible. You have an amazing local network of friends and family, and another network that spans thousands of miles, multiple oceans, and different continents. Over the past year and a bit, we've got to know you as parents, and today we get to watch you start your journey as husband and wife. May your energy, selflessness, confidence, sincerity, and love of adventure never change. Along with everyone in this room, I wish you a lifetime of health, happiness, good food, good wine, and gnarly powder. In closing, part of a song the Liverpool fans may recognize. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of each storm, there is a golden sky. Walk on with hope in your hearts. Know that together, you'll never walk alone. Love you, congratulations. And cheers to you, Larissa and Dean.
Beautiful words. Thanks, Chris. I especially like the shout out to the bag of milk. If I could draw your attention to the collar of my shirt, there is a pin that only the champions of the bag of milk can wear.
From the one time Ruben won it since 2014, just to call that out.
Larissa, that does not count as my fantasy hockey reference.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris. And again, lovely words, spoken like the true golden child that you actually are.
Well, for those of you who know Dean, you may know he likes to keep his cards close to his chest. He doesn't really share much or divulge any details unless prompted. I mean, I would consider myself a good friend of Dean's, and I recently only just found out he has a brother.
Yeah, Rube's not sure you're the right person for this job.
I am questioning that as well. Dean also rarely likes to take the spotlight to be shone his way, and the next speaker, Tony, actually celebrated his 40th birthday just recently. And when I asked Dean about this, I said, hey, Tony's taking all your thunder. He said, quote, the less attention on me, the better.
Well then, let's get the focus back on the man of the hour. Mr. Chatfield, you are up. Tony.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction, guys, and 3 amazing speeches to try and stand up to. So let me just find my notes here. Good afternoon, everyone. Evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Tony, and I'm stood here today with the honor of sharing a few words as Dean's best man. History shows I like to talk a little in my speeches. These guys gave me a firm 5 minutes. I think we've gone over a little bit, so I've got a bit of breathing space now. But let's get down to it. But before I delve into some Dean stories, I must take a moment to mention how beautiful Larissa looks today. The bridal party looked fantastic. The groom's party looked amazing. Sean's mustache, amazing. But I think, Larissa, you've stolen the show, and rightly so. You look beautiful. And Mackenzie, of course, yeah. Now, my friendship with Dean goes back almost 12 years, when we both took jobs at the Four Seasons Hotel in Whistler for the 2011 season. Dean took his British wit and sarcasm that we love / tolerate to the pool bartender role that we spoke about. We didn't get to know each other right away, but pretty soon we found ourselves in the same ski groups, charging around the mountain, throwing ourselves down some pretty ridiculous terrain, and enjoying a few drinks in the après sessions. And as we learned as well earlier, during that time, Larissa was also working at the hotel as an in-room dining coordinator. And over the next couple of years, Dean and Larissa, they bounced around a couple of different positions and departments. But I consider myself very fortunate to have witnessed their relationship sort of blossom from the very beginning. But back to Dean for a moment. When it comes to writing this speech, I wanted to focus on how best to describe the guy. I asked around, and I got some amusing responses, which I thought I'd share. One description I got was expensive taste. Over the last 10 years, I personally have seen Dean indulge in new ski gear pretty much every year. Golf clubs, the cost I will take to my grave, Dean. That's my gift to you. He's got his Air Canada Lounge Access Pass, right? He has a dislike for public transport. He enjoys the finer things in life. But this extended back to his time in the UK as well. I learned from a source in the UK that he was the first kid in school to get an MP3 player. Remember those guys back in the day? And as soon as he was able to, he purchased a green moped. I was told it was green, a green moped to impress the ladies in Barrow. Right? Yeah. Some other descriptors, an average fantasy hockey manager. I think that's fair. I was going to leave this out, but as we learned earlier, he's the second best athlete in the household. As I said, I was going to leave it out, but Vlad declared open season on Dean, so I just thought I'd throw that in there. Another amusing description was questionable haircuts. Yeah, questionable haircuts. Rumor has it that Dean once rocked frosted tips in his youth. Yeah. Apparently he tried to say it was accidental and blamed it on lemon shampoo. Come on, like, excuse game's got to be better than that. And now that the photos are all done, I think we should be campaigning for that look to come back, for sure. Thoughtful was another. I thought it was so thoughtful how Dean proposed. Just picture the scene. He's got a luxury suite at the bottom of the mountain, check. Beautiful day skiing, check. And he's just waiting for that right moment to pop the question. And when that moment arrived, he did it. And he asked Sean and me to be in his wedding party. It was just beautiful. As a friend, I was so touched by that move. Less so when I sat back and reflected and realized that he had just used the same playbook from a year earlier when he proposed to Larissa. But hey, that's by the by. But moving past some of the lighter descriptors, I believe one of Dean's defining characteristics is his fierce commitment to what's important to him, to his family, and to his friends. Whilst many good people exhibit loyalty, I've rarely seen anyone as dedicated as Dean. Over the last 12 years, there's been numerous times, an event, a weekend, a trip away, where you could back out. And we've seen lots of people do that, but I struggle to find a time when I could think that applied to Dean. He has an unwavering loyalty to those he holds close, and it has led to some incredible adventures over the years. Heli skiing, cat skiing, trips to New York, coming and visiting me when I was living in Hawaii, destination fantasy hockey draft weekends, heartbreak invitational golf trips. Each and every time, Dean has made it happen. And so I just wanted to end with a story that I think showcases this the best. It's 2014, and true to form, Dean was all in for a 5-day ski trip. We planned to ski Revelstoke, Kicking Horse, and then finish up at Big White. I woke up on the first morning in Revelstoke and I wasn't feeling great at all. I put it down to the air conditioning in the Super 8 we were staying in. This was before Expensive Taste kind of came in. But anyway, I put on a brave face, I swallowed some cold and flu Advil and got on with my day. Second day comes around, I'm feeling worse. Third day, feeling even worse. And then fourth day, I'm even further away in Golden, and I just had to admit defeat. I drove Dean to the bottom of the mountain for him to enjoy his day. I went to go see a doctor. The doctor is from Newcastle. I'm not going to do the accent. She told me I looked like crap, diagnosed me with flu, and signed me off work for 2 weeks. At this point, I just needed to get back to my own bed. I go back to the base of the mountain, and I feel dreadful because I'm about to ask Dean to cancel the ski trip and just get me back to my bed. But without hesitation, Dean abandons the ski trip, jumps in the Tiguan, drives me home. I'm a shell of a man in the passenger seat. I barely say anything, and Dean just hammers out an 8-hour drive straight, just stopping for gas and to let me get some fresh air. Loyalty in its truest form. Now, I like to think I repaid a little of that debt in getting him home on Tuesday after his bachelor party, but I think I've still got a ways to. I think I've still got about 7.5 hours of escorting to pay that off. And I extend the same defining characteristic to Larissa. I thought the ceremony reading on friendship today was so poignant, and involving so many friends in their wedding was just perfect for these two people who always make time for those they're closest to. You are always first up when times get tough, and it is so appreciated. Dean and Larissa, it is an honor to be stood here today celebrating this day with you. Our friendship over the last 12 years has been an absolute pleasure, and it brings me such joy to see two great friends evolve into a strong couple and then amazing parents to the adorable Mackenzie. I have no doubt that you will continue to grow stronger together, overcoming any obstacles life throws your way. So to finish, time check, I don't know where we're at, but to finish, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to be upstanding, if you can, and raise your glasses to Dean and Larissa. May your marriage be filled with love, laughter, and endless adventures. Cheers.
All right, Tony, lovely job. We're going to give everyone a break from our voices, and we're going to move on to the next course of dinner, so enjoy.
So when Larissa and Dean first asked me to co-MC this wedding, they made it very clear that I was only allowed one fantasy hockey reference. But what Larissa failed to specify was how long that reference could be. So strap yourselves in. A couple of us began a social fantasy hockey league about 10 years ago. And it's grown into something a lot more serious and friendly sometimes. Each year, the team that finishes on the bottom of the standings has the best chance at the strongest player the next season. In 2021, Dean finished dead last. Like, he could not have done worse if he tried, which a lot of us suspected that he actually did. Like, his team was terrible, like really bad. But all of this failure of Dean's led him to receive the first pick in the draft the next year, and with it, somebody named Connor McDavid. Now, I understand there are some football heads in the crowd, so if you could just picture if Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo, if they all had a baby and it learned how to skate like really quickly. That's Connor McDavid.
Sorry, Ruben, I really need to ask, where are you going with this?
Right. What I'm trying to say is, Dean was not doing too well. And then along came McDavid, the best player in the league. And that season, I can't remember seeing Dean any happier, except when he's with Larissa. Larissa is to Dean the McDavid of people. She is the true MVP of this family and Dean's #1 draft pick for life.
That actually turned out to be really sweet. I was a little bit concerned about where that was going. And since Ruben just took up literally all our time to speak this evening, I just need to throw in a quick kudos for myself for throwing a Christmas party back in December of 2014. Without that party, the couple we now know as Lorene may not exist today. So you are all very welcome. And on that note, I would like to welcome to the podium the lovely bride and groom, Larissa and Dean.
Thank you everyone for coming today. We are so happy to spend today with you all, and it means the world that you came from far and wide to celebrate with us. We've been looking forward to having everyone we love in one room for 8.5 years, and we can't believe this day is finally here. We'd like to make a special mention to our family and friends back in England and Cyprus who were not able to make it to Whistler. Nana Miller, Annie Jo and Victor, Annie Ann and her family, and Michael and Sue and Robert. We have a lot of people to thank who contributed to this day. Firstly, we would like to thank Aaron and Chloe from Bliss, who helped us bring our vision to life, and the wonderful WB team for creating the amazing meal and Dusty's party. Thank you to the SLCC, Whistler Connection, Greg Neufeld, and DJ Greg for the amazing music. We'd also like to say a big thank you to our wonderful photographers and officiant, Tara and Steve, and videographer Paul. Thank you for being the most incredible friends and adventure buddies over the years and for agreeing to capture our wedding. It was essential that you were a part of this day, and we cannot wait to relive it again through your work. Let's just hope this time our modeling skills are a little better.
Some of you might have been wondering why Steve was drinking throughout the day, but that was the package that he sold us on. We're just happy that he put the glass down for the ceremony. We were able to get to that without a drink in hand, so thank you, Steve. Thank you to Jamie and Ruben. Our MCs have been fantastic tonight. And thank you, Jess, for the ceremony reading. That was awesome this afternoon, so thank you. Whistler holds such a special place in our hearts, and the friends we made here have become our family. And so we're so happy you could all be part of our day today. We did intentionally ask both Jamie and Ruben to be part of our MC package, mainly because we wanted Jamie to not get super drunk to start and to keep our bar tab at a minimum.
Thanks, Jimbo. Thanks, Jimbo.
And secondly, for Ruben, Ruben is currently an out-of-work actor. You can search him on IMDb, but we were hoping that he could add this to his portfolio so that he could get a little bump as he heads back to Australia.
Thank you to our parents, where are you guys, who made a massive part in helping us prepare for this day. We really could not have done it without you. We thank you for all of your support that you have provided us over the years and to let us follow our dreams. Ultimately, that led us to each other, and for that, we are eternally grateful. To Ange and Harry, you're the best Nana and Granddad to Mackenzie, and we cherish the time we've spent together over her first year. Ange, your courage and strength to raise two incredible sons is admirable, and I owe a lot to you for the man that Dean is today. I know that Dave would have been so proud of the husband and father that Dean has become, so thank you.
We'll move along. Kathy and Vlad. Larissa is the glue that keeps our family together, and this is a result of your influence on her. Mackenzie is lucky to have a Nan and Dada who adore being around her and have always appreciate you taking the morning shifts whenever you come visit to let us sleep in. You are always such great hosts whenever we come to Ontario, and so thank you for buying dinner for 100 of our closest friends and family tonight. I've already started saving for Mackenzie's wedding.
To our wedding party, we are so grateful to have you as close friends and family. You are our best friends, our biggest support network, and the people who chirp us the most, but also make us laugh the hardest. Our lives are so enriched with you in them, and we thank you for always being there for us no matter what. We'd be here all night if we spoke individually of how important you all are to us. You know how important you are, so thank you. Not unlike my relationship with Dean, our friendships are built on a foundation of trust, humor, sarcasm, and adventure. We thank you for supporting our relationship over the years, and we love you all tons.
Next one is to Larissa, so to my wife.
Matt.
You were instrumental in making today an incredible day for everybody. Today wouldn't have been as fun as it would without your passion and persistence to make sure everyone was going to have a great time. For perspective, I only really did the place cards that are on your table. And the signs on the side of the door there. Everything else was done by Larissa. When I first met Larissa, she was this cool chick who was snowboarding around Blackcomb on a big snow day with Britt. And I thought, hey, this bird is all right. I was real British back then, so I still had a proper accent. Years later, we finally started dating, and she decided to stick with me as I met two of her minimum requirements. One, had my permanent residency and was no longer here on a work visa. And 2, had my shit together with a steady job. Thank you, Karen. Fast forward 8.5 years later, and I think I'm still meeting those 2 minimum requirements. And you've become the best mom, friend, and now wife. And I know we'll have a ton of fun together, whatever life has in store for us.
Dean, my love for you is effortless. You have always felt like home to me, and I love our Saturday morning ritual of making pancakes while you watch Premier League soccer, or football, sorry. It was the same way in my house growing up. You have been all in since day one, and I thank you for your continued dedication to our relationship and family. Mackenzie and I are so lucky to have you. There's Mackenzie. She's somewhere. I think she's at the back. You have fulfilled your true calling as a father, and watching you with Mac brings me so much joy. I would have never imagined that the guy I saw many years ago in the Four Seasons banquet hallway with no beard, a weird accent, and wearing a gold vest would be my future husband and father of my child, but here we are today. Your wit, sarcasm, and sass are some of the qualities that drew me into you, and I thank you every day for always being true to yourself and keeping me grounded. And I'd like to thank Mackenzie as well. I realized I didn't write anything about Mackenzie. Oops. She won't remember it. But Dean and I are so fortunate to have such an incredible daughter. You guys have all seen how lively she is, and oh God, this is why I shouldn't go off script. And we're just so lucky to have her here to celebrate with all of you and really just enjoy this day, and she'll have these memories forever. So, well, that's way too many feelings for Dean for one night, so today was really just about getting our close family and friends together for a big party, and what better way to do so than in an après-ski bar in our favorite place on earth. So we thought the most authentic way to kick off the dance party at Dusty's was by doing a shot ski instead of a cake cutting. So before we ask our wedding party to come up and join us, I would just like to cheers all of you. Thank you for being in our lives, and cheers.